In today's video, I'm gonna try to explain and answer some of the questions, such as what's cursor, what does it do, what are the limitations of it, how could I make the settings and the preferences work correctly for the project that I'm working on, what type of the project that I expect it to work well with the cursor, can I rely on this one? Firstly, Cursor has been built on top of Visual Studio Code. So the same thing, the Visual Studio Code editor, plus with the chat that consists of the AI. On the left side consists of the project and workspace. In the middle area that consists of the editor itself. And then on the right side, it consists of the chat. So for example, if I create a new file here, let's call it index.html, then immediately it's appear in the middle. And then on the right side, it's also being added to the chat. Let me open the chat for you. So it consists of the three main area. Context, most likely it consists, for example, file or code or documentation or some other, for example, Git, fast chat and rules and terminal and so on. Then in the second field or in the second section, it consists of the input. So I could put anything here, any text I could like. Third section and the final section is consist of two drop menu. First one is the agent, ask, manual. So agent, you can think about this one as a general developer. It's good to plan, search, build anything that you ask about it. Chat or ask, it's like behave as a chatbot. Manually, as it said, you direct as a manual. And then on the right side menu, that consists of two mode. There's auto and max auto. It's depend on your subscription. Most likely there will be at least auto, and then under that one there will be also a plenty, for example, of model. If you don't see some of those, don't worry, you could go, for example, here, and then you will have the list. For example, some of them could be like toggle off, then they are not appear here, but when you toggle them, they will be appear here. In case that you have some other subscription from other API provider, just go here to that one and give them the key or some other configuration. Next and most interesting one is the tools and the integration. So it's came up with the two integration at the moment. It will be GitHub integration, for example, when you push your code to the production, and when you work with the team, then you will most likely need a Slack or some communication way. So this agent could work in the background. The MCP section will cover that in some other video. So don't forget to subscribe to see that one. And then there's rules. Also those will cover them in separate video because they need more attention. For example, user rules and then project rules. Let me open this one a little bit. So user rule, that's tied to the current login user, and then the project rules that's related to the current project. For example, if you are doing mobile development, backend development, cloud, embedded system, so you could add .cursor file and then apply anything that you are looking for or that you expected from this project to work on. And then let's go and build and ask it, for example, to build a project for us. So can you build timer and stopwatch or countdown using only HTML, CSS, JavaScript? Make the changes on own files. But for this one, I'm gonna make it very simple. I will choose auto mode and then hit this one. Let's give it a moment. So at the moment, first it show the summary or the plan. So it will be building a timer and countdown application using only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So firstly, it has been went to index. The HTML has implemented all the changes. So I'm gonna go into code this time. I'm going to accept this file changes. Let's go. You either go to preview next file, or if you know already what's the next file, then just navigate from this one at the top or the left side. Also, some styles has been applied here. So I'm going to accept that one as well. Then go to the JavaScript, the same thing, going to accept that one. Okay, after done all this one, so basically it's explain the idea or plan and then do the changes of the file. After that, it has been said that okay, I have completed this one. There's a timer countdown. Then count does have the following feature, for example, timer tab, countdown tab, and some design feature, technical feature, and so on. I'm gonna ask it to open this one. So can you open this one in Chrome? Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna run this one. Beautiful. So firstly, it has been done a good job in style. For example, let's have like a background. There's like timer, countdown, title. There's two tab, which you could toggle between them. And then if I start a timer, then it will be added here. For example, lovely what I've pause it, start, nice, restart, beautiful. How about countdown? Let's give it 2 minutes, start, nice. Let's ask the cursor to change the background color. And for example, if I go to switch between timer, countdown, when I post something, I would like to continue. So firstly, I'm gonna go here. Can you use light and dark theme for background colors? Also timer and countdown. Can you make it possible to resume after pause? Again, it's give you the plan, so it will be implementing light and dark theme toggle as well as the pause and resume functionality. Here's you could quickly see what's going to change here. So if I hit on the preview next file, just most likely the index.html changing, it's going to add, for example, button to change this style. So I'm not go details here, accept the changes. So nextly here, as you can see, it's have the styles.css. Most likely we could change it. So let me go here. It has been changing all the styles. So again, I'm not going to details here. So let's accept the changes. How about JavaScript? Let's give it a moment until finish. And those like new changes has been added in the green color and in red color, it's mean removing them. So let's accept the changes, go back to the project and give it a fresh. How about changing the color? Lovely. Look light. Okay, let's give it a black. So let's go here. If I start, there's possibility now to resume. How about restart? Well, also there's like a little bit animation has been done, which is pretty cool. How about countdown? Let's give it like 2 minutes. Start, pause, resume. Nice. How about restart? Lovely. Now I've been changed all of those things. I'm gonna ask it the final thing here. Can you give me the readme file about the project? So basically, I'm asking here to build the summary about the project in readme file. Let's give it a moment to generate that one. Also, as you can see, it's create file if it doesn't exist. So let's accept the changes. You would like to preview it as a simple text, then you right click and open a preview. Here is the summary of it. So it's an modern, responsive countdown application has been built with vanilla HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And I have a feature, for example, light and dark theme support and smooth animation. Then those features, for example, timer, countdown, UI/UX, and so on. Okay, let's close this one and close this one. I'm going to switch to ask what are the features that you think can be added to this project. Here's some advanced feature, for example. Let's say there's a possibility of multiple timer, countdown, advanced timer feature, for example, lap times, sleep timing, timer accuracy, and auto restart, and so on. Some other improvements, for example, circle progress indicator and animation background and all of those. Okay, now all of those feature has been added. So if I switch here and go back to the agent, can you implement all of those features that you provided to me? The good thing here is since we are having the same chat, most likely we'll have the same session. We'll go and check what are the last chat and hopefully take that one as the input and then try to build on that one. Sometimes it takes a time because there is like too much people using the same thing or the same model. So it could use the slow one and sometimes use the advanced one. It's depend on the time that you are using that I have been noticed. And now it started to implement all of the new features. For example, so if I open this one, you can see it's not to build some of those features that can be in task mode slow sometimes because I said it take a time. Because too many people could be used the same mode. Here's the HTML changes has been implemented. Again, I'm not gonna go to too much details here. So I'm gonna accept and then judge based on the changes has been applied based on my request. And in the meanwhile, also it's built style CSS. Hopefully after that we'll change some of the script in JavaScript file as well. In the meanwhile, could I see the changes? I think it's not possible. So we have to wait until it's finished and then accept the changes or reject them. Okay, after waiting about 10 minutes, it has been changing the styles. I'm gonna accept this one. Also, the same thing has been changed a lot here in the script because too many features has been asked. I'm gonna accept this one or in the editing file. Probably did it. Let's see what's happening here. JavaScript again because there's some errors has been occurred or happened. So we try to go here and see what are those changes and based on this one will be, for example, build them again. Now after all those changes has been applied, let's go here and refresh. Okay, firstly, it has been a notification, lovely, with to allow, not allow. So I'm gonna accept this one. Was the first thing that does has been added, like a new feature. For example, there's lab here, there's like start post lab preset, nice. Then the same countdown. Now we have a circle, which is not that greatest circle with the text inside, but it's good so far. The same thing with the countdown. There's like two new, for example, toggle button here for auto start and then desktop notification. So let's get a test, see how well. Yeah, notification has been working very well. And then let's go to presets. Now there's too many options here, like productivity, exercises, cooking, custom, and so on. Lovely. For example, if you are someone who is using Pomodoro a lot, this is good. A short break, long break, deep work, quick task, and so on. Most those like seems not in the correct number. So let's say if I hit this one, what's up? Okay, so let's give it 25 minutes. Those here are not correct, but in the countdown, for example, it's working very well. So about, let's say, exercises, let's give it a cardio, like 30 minutes, and then start it to count down, nice, and then let's pause it. What history? Actually, it does have all the timer history. For example, one session total time has been used, average about session time, nice, and there's what use it, for example, today, and this is like the amount. So if I hit this one, it will go and continue that one, which is lovely. How about reset? Yeah, that one here about clear. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And this one, yeah, definitely it's working well. Light and dark still working fine. Timer is working fine. How about give it lab? Nice. Now it's been added here. Another one, another one, another one. Those restart and also restart those lab. And that was actually everything in this video. If you find it useful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching and stay safe.